fucking keep, Cathedral of the fucking Deep, and Overreliance Dungeon can all go straight to hell. The entire first half of this game is just the most ugly, bland, boring, gross, just nasty looking areas. And they have the color palette of the inside of a prostitute's asshole. Not to mention specifically Overreliance Dungeon, where the enemies just take away your health bar. Like, it disappears. It's not, oh, if they cast a spell on you. Oh, it's not if they hit you. It's if you see them. Your health just disappears. What kind of bullshit is that? And in Fair and Keep, where not only does this like poison you, it makes you fat roll, and there are these giant enemies everywhere that'll hit you and spawn like freaking sorceries on you. And there's these other wolf guys that have 2 attacks that'll just one-shot you. Like, these are the parts of the game that are actually masochistic. That's supposed to be a joke, okay? That's not actually what this is about. Difficult but fair. My f***ing ass! It's like, how about like a pink flower garden? How cool would that be if we just walked in and be like, oh man, this is gorgeous. It's a medieval fantasy game. You have virtually no limits with creativity. Where's the vibrant, beautiful forest level where water like falls up? Because the gravity's distorted or something. Overreliance's kind of cool looking, but that feels very Bloodborne-y. And then right after that, we go to Orlando! Orlando! And they have the archers! Again! And if you listen really carefully in Orlando, you can actually hear Miyazaki jerking off! And then you get to Smoldering Lake, and I'm like, this is cool! This is like awesome! There's like all these fire tree pillars. It's one of the actually visually stunning areas in the game. And then you go through it a little bit, and it's just, are you kidding me? Tara's demons, and Capra demons, and Black Knights, and Asylum demons. It's just Dark Souls 1 point. Okay, I get it. And there's a room with a bunch of Black Knights and like a picture of Guinevere, and you open the chest, and there's like Smo's hammer. Frickin' Sigmire shows up, and it's like, okay, if you did any one of these things, it would be this cool, like, nostalgia fest, and it would have been great. But the fact that, like, every other area just copies Dark Souls 1? The Catacombs! It's literal, they're not even trying to hide it, they just called it the Catacombs! And it's just skulls, it's like, f*** you! And when the game decides it's had enough of stealing from Dark Souls 1, it just steals from itself! Untended graves? Are you kidding me? I said in my first impressions video, I'll give the game the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's just the first few areas. No, it's the whole game. When I finally got to the ending of the game, I did really like the ending. And then, you know, Gwyn shows up again because more nostalgia. And guess where it takes place? Killing of the First Flame, alright? And again, if it had just been the end, that would have been fine. But it's everything, everywhere. What's actually cool is after you beat the Consumed King, you get the eyes of the Firekeeper, and if you give those to the Firekeeper, she'll be like, oh man, a world without fire, like the end of the fire. And it'll play the Secret Betrayal soundtrack on the CD, and that's just great. That's the kind of atmosphere and mood that we wanted. That's the kind of like sorrowful, depressing, like end of an era kind of, end of the world really, not even end of the era. So when you do finally beat the final boss and you summon the Firekeeper, the end of fire ending is really the only ending that anyone should even try. You can just relight the kiln again, or you can just have it go dark again. In which case the whole point of the game and everybody coming back to life was meaningless. It's just another damn cycle. That's why the end of fire ending is cool, because she actually just like pulls the first soul for like and she's like holding in her hands like the Witch of Islith from Dark Souls 1, and it actually just starts getting dark, just getting black. It's not like the Age of Dark and Humanity Arise, like it literally just, the light goes out from the game, and it's like, oh man, what do we do? That was like kind of cool, because like this is where like everything began, because in Dark Souls lore, that's how the world was like created, with like the first flame. And to see it like be pulled from existence, it's like, imagine if you're like in the Garden of Eden and you just like see this blinding light and it's like God, and that's it cuts to black. It's like the creation of existence and the world. That is like, for me, that's like up here in terms of atmosphere. You really can't get any better than that. And you just feel like really, really alone and like at the top of the world. And the Firekeeper's there, and when it goes black, she's like, Ashen One, canst thou my voice hearest still, or whatever. That was cool, I loved that. Best ending of anything. Except that she subtly slips the line, oh, new embers will one day, new flames will dance. It's like, then what's the point? The whole point was that it's the end. If it just comes back again, that defeats the purpose. All 4 endings are essentially the same, because From Software just refuses to commit to a canon ending and wants to leave everything as vague as possible and up to player interpretation, which is why I'm just going to pretend she never said that line and go with my end of the world, like, center of creation theory. But where Dark Souls 3 still continues to succeed is in its gameplay, is in its core basic gameplay. That's always been there, that's always been this good, and it puts other RPG action games to shame. It controls so smoothly, except for the jump button. The jump button's kind of a joke. But again, that has always been good, so it's like you have to do something new for the new game. On the whole, Dark Souls 3 is not a bad game. Dark Souls 3 is a very good game, but it's... Now, Dark Souls 3, I'm gonna essentially come to the same verdict as I always do with these Souls games. Something is always really bad, and something is always really good. That's the problem. This is a predominantly fantastic series, but there is no one fantastic game. I was ultimately disappointed in Dark Souls 3. I think it is by far the laziest of the series, and in various technical categories, kind of drops the ball. And it is at times a very ugly, painful, frustrating experience. But then there are the bosses, and then there is the music, and then there is the atmosphere, and then there are the cool looking armor sets, and then there's that kind of like tone of finality you get like in Firelink Shrine headed to Soul of Cinder after the little cutscene. I'm like, oh man, this is it. No other game this year hit me quite like that. But if I'm being honest, I spent a lot more time in the frustrating level sections than I did fighting the awesome bosses. Dark Souls 3 doesn't really feel like a sequel, though. It feels like one huge expansion pack. The sword arts are not a big enough thing. It's lazy, it's rehashed, it's uninspired. It's what you get when you get 3 games in a row, once a year annually, that close together, with no room for ideas. And as low as a score as this is going to seem, Dark Souls 3 is still my favorite game of the year so far, with a 7.5.
They never stop biting. So please, hold out your hand and touch me. Ah, yes, there you are. So close, indeed. Then I am not entirely alone just yet.
Ashen One, if when thou peerest upon the first flame, thou wishest yet for a world without fire, for an end to the linking of the fire, then call upon me. I am a firekeeper, and I tend to the flame to the very end. Thou hast given me eyes, and such it was they showed me. Ashen One, if thine heart should bend, kill me, and strip these eyes from my person. I will return as the firekeeper I once was, as it has always been. Mayst thou thy peace discover,